naturally. Baby.
Welcome to Courtside Moms. I'm Wendy Sparks.
And I'm Stephanie Folahan.
Today, we have the awesome pleasure of speaking with Miss Teer Butler, the fantastic mother of Courtney Lee, who plays for the Dallas Mavs. But before we step into that conversation, I would like to know, Stephanie, what's good? How was your week?
My week was great. I actually met all of my business milestones and financial goals for the year this week. But it was met with like a lot of mom guilt and realization of the sacrifices I've had to make and things I'm missing. So it was kind of weird. I was really happy to hit them, but I didn't feel the way I thought I would.
Right. Trying to balance that mom and entrepreneur life, right?
Yeah, if that's a thing, if it can be done. It doesn't feel like it right now.
We can do anything. Never forget that. As a woman, we can do anything. So. Well, my week actually, alongside work and more work, I was stuck to my cell phone, to the TV in my hotel lobby. You name it, I had to know what was going on in the U.S. And finally, it is over.
It's official.
Yes. The U.S., they now have a new president and vice president. So that is, their future is changing, which is a good thing in my opinion. So I can't wait to see what's going to unravel with that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm super excited that we've got a female vice president down there.
Yeah, she's making history as the first Black female vice president. So good for her. You know what? We'll have to see what happens. I'm curious what Teer will think about that. So let's bring her on and let's ask her. Teer, thank you so much for coming on Courtside Moms today.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And these glasses. These are my one of my new glasses, and I'm trying to get used to them. So, can you see me? Because I don't know.
We can see you floating on the bridge. Don't worry, you're good.
You look fabulous.
You are. No worries.
Okay.
No
I
worries.
can see you very well and
Awesome.
clear, very clear. I am so impressed with this technology.
So let's talk about Courtney. We want to know from the beginning up until today. That's right. So how did your baby get involved in basketball?
Well, like I said before, he comes from a family of athletes. My dad played sports, and my brother played sports, my sister as well as myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have one sister, one brother. I'm the middle child, of course. And my dad, I overheard one time that with his, talk with his buddies, said he wished that he had all sons because he loves sports so much. And he only had my brother, to play the basketball. I'm like, that's not true. Girls play basketball and football and baseball. So every time my brother got a trophy, I had to get a trophy, prove to him, and which I did, and then my father told me when I got pregnant that all my kids were going to be boys and they're going to all play sports and all of that. So when they were little, you buy the basketball, the football, the baseball, and you see which one, they gravitate to. And which my kids, they did all of it, all the sports and everything. So it was in his genes.
So at what age did Courtney gravitate to basketball?
Oh, gosh, I want to say 3 years old, 4. He started very young. And then he started playing like the youth league when he was about 8.
Okay.
But they had like the little PAL clubs around the neighborhood that, when they were real young, that they can get into and everything. Right. And then plus we played at home a lot because we had a basketball court. And then it just translated up the ladder from school, grade school, middle school, high school, college, now professional. Mm-hmm.
So in high school, he went to Pike. And at that point, did you find that he was really in the element of the sport now? Like, did you see basketball in his future then?
Okay, it's like this with mom. You hear other people saying about, oh, your son is gifted. He's very athletic,
Right.
which I agree and I understand. But I keep saying, well, they keep saying, well, he has a chance, But me, I said, education first. Education first. If he's that good, if they want him, they'll want him after he graduates college.
That's right. That's right.
And I couldn't see it because I said it's only 400 jobs in the NBA, and I'm like, degree, basketball.
Of course.
And that was my motto. But I thought, when Chris Thomas, one of the neighborhood kids, didn't get drafted, and I thought he was a very excellent player. He played for Notre Dame. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm like, just stay in school, because he says his sophomore year, I'm declaring the draft. I'm like, oh no, you're not. I'm gonna stay in school and get a degree while this, you have a scholarship. This is, my brain, looking out for him. I'm like, oh no.
Well, as a parent, we see what they don't see, right? They just want to play, but we see the reality of, well, hold on a second. I mean, it's nice to bounce a ball, but, you need that education that comes with it.
Yes. Because, the struggle is real. They don't see what the mom goes through, because I was a single mom, raising 3 sons and working 2 and 3 jobs. And, and I'm, no, I had to keep my sons busy because I wasn't letting the streets take over my kids.
Right.
No. So I worked around their schedule. So glory to God. I sometimes I sit back, how did I do it? God. That's the answer.
Yeah.
God. I'm blessed. I can't say I'm lucky. I just say I'm blessed. And I'm very humble and I'm grateful, because it's just so many of their friends are not here today. And I'm just like, wow, it's so easy to go down. You have the right road of life and you have the wrong road of life.
Right.
And I try to instill in my boys, look, it's so easy to get in trouble. And it's so hard to get out of trouble.
Amen.
Your mother is not rich, and it's going to cost a lot of money. So when I tell you, do not ride 4 deep in a car, because I bought all my kids used cars. I said, as long as you get good grades, I would love for you to be on the honor roll, but I don't want you to get no F's or D's. And when they turned 16, I got each and every one of my sons a car. And I said, if I see more than one passenger in that car, the keys are mine. And that's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because you're Black. You're born with an X on your back. So, my parents, I had excellent parents. They were so old-timey, and they didn't tell you about the birds and the bees and, So I said, when I had kids, I'm going to be straight up and up front, because it's life. You have to prepare your kids for leaving you,
Right.
And I just told them, I hate to say this, but you're Black and you targeted. You may be a good basketball player, good football player, or whatever. The police don't care who you are. And, I always use Tiger Woods for an example.
Yeah, he is quite the example.
So, and then we go to, we go to church, and I instilled and everything. And I just told them straight up, this is what it is. And when, like Courtney, he rebelled his freshman year. That's when he was really smelling himself. So I received his service select form for the military.
Yep.
And back then, I think it was the Saudi Arabia war was going on. And I told him I was going to send him into the Army. I said, you want to be Billy Bad Butt? So I had to scare him straight. And he understood, Mama, no, because some of those military men were coming back home and they were jerking and doing some of that. Mm-hmm. He did a 180. 180.
Well, you see, that's the job of a mom, right?
Yes, people remember the bad that you do. They never remember the good. And I told him that. He turned everything around. Honey, he graduated with the honor of excellent. When they called me and told me I have an invitation to come to the honors of excellent breakfast, I said, well, Michael, my older two sons, I said, well, they graduated already. And Miss Paulette fell out of her chair. She said, our baby did it. Courtney, I said, oh, Lord, sweet Jesus, thank you.
So is this high school you're talking about?
Yeah, this is high school. It was so funny because I couldn't believe it. I know he was bringing up all his grades. He was doing very well. And I couldn't believe the honor breakfast. I'm like, what? Man, did we celebrate. And
well, listen, sometimes, like you said, you have to put that scare in them for them to realize that
yes,
you got to come correct, or you will be in Saudi Arabia.
I lose them to all of this nonsense out in the streets.
Right.
And yeah. So.
Well, that's good that he listens. I mean, and so he obviously did well in high school. I mean, when you play in high school, you have coaches that approach you and scouts that approach you from Division 1 or 2 or whatever school. You know what I mean? So how are you approached now from various colleges? Like,
okay. Well, I've received tons and tons of letters, phone calls, and I was getting very overwhelmed. Now, college was a little bit different. They were really crazy. But high school, I just had a little taste of it. I had no idea what I was in store for, at going in, to college and everything. But, the pros, but they called and everything, and I met with a lot of coaches. And at the time, Courtney, like I said, that freshman year, it was really rough and everything, but he got it together and everything. So I interviewed with a lot of different coaches, but then it was like Robert Vayton. Pike was loaded with talent. Indianapolis, full of talent.
Right.
And, and so we went on all the college tours and everything. And I told my son, I'm like, look, you have to do the 4 years. I'm leaving this decision up to you, because at the end of the day, you are going to be at this school, not me.
Right.
So, I gave him my opinion on the different schools and everything. And I let him, choose. But he was so impressed with Western, because my mom is from Bowling Green, Kentucky. So I have a host of relatives down in Bowling Green and everything. But out of all the places that we visit, that Southern charm really got them. And plus, they was building the new gym and Ditto Arena.
So that's why he chose Western Kentucky?
I think that had a whole lot to do with it, too.
Teer, was college his first time away from home?
Yes. Oh, my God, yes. Did you read about him getting homesick?
No. Tell us.
He is going to kill me. Oh, yes. The basketball team had to show up that summer before school start to do summer school. And he was just, I can't wait. I'm leaving home. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have a ball. He wasn't there 3 days.
Come get me.
I'm dying laughing. I'm like, come home. I'm like, school hasn't even started. What happened was, it was summer school, and there wasn't nobody there but the basketball and football team. Right. And he really didn't know anyone, so I had to have my aunt and uncle go talk with him and take him out to dinner. He was so homesick, the coach called. I don't think he's going to be able to do this. Like, oh, yes, he is. He's not going to give up this scholarship. He said, can I come home and go to IUPUI? I'm like, no. I said, think about Boris. He's from Africa. He hasn't seen his parents in years. You're going to be okay. And I told him to pray. I told him to read Psalms 23. And then my aunt and uncle would go take him out to dinner, breakfast, or whatever. He was ready to come home. So after summer school on that Friday, he called. He said, Mom, do I take 465 north to get home? I'm like, yeah. So my mom and I went to the grocery store and went and had lunch. And by the time we made it home, Courtney was parked in the driveway. But once school started, that was the end of him calling me all the time.
So what was that college experience like for him at Western Kentucky?
Oh, he loved it. Getting past the homesick, the summer school, that first year, Danny Rump, his roommate, I know you guys read about his roommate died when he was that was such a tragic, but he gravitated to Danny Rump. So he really looked up to Danny Rump, and he showed him the ropes and, all about Kentucky and everything. So he didn't need mama no more. I got a phone call maybe once every blue moon. So that was a good sign, so I had to call him and send his little care, as long as I'm sending the care packages and all of that, he was okay.
No need to call, eh?
Really, he really, that freshman year, he was just breaking all kind of records. He was freshman of the year.
That's right.
So many, I can't remember everything that he won, but he broke a lot of records. So he was happy then.
Right. Let's talk about, he graduated, and then after that, he was in the draft.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. And he graduated on the dean's list.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So, Mama.
Congratulations, Mom.
I told him I was going to turn the cartwheel. I tried my best to do one. I couldn't do it. Cheerleader. And I'm like, many moons ago, I was a cheerleader. And I'm like, I can't even do a cartwheel anymore. But, people don't know my struggles or what I went through. And I'm telling you, when the last son graduating college, I'm like, oh, God is so good.
So have all three of your sons graduated college?
Yes.
That's impressive.
It is impressive.
Good for you.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to go to college, but like I said, I got pregnant at an early age and everything, and I disappointed a lot of folks, but, I did what I had to do. I put my kids first. I worked. I moved out when I was 17 and did what I had to do. So I instilled my life into my kids, and I pushed them to go, farther in life. And I also told them, don't do the things that I did. You do not want to become a father at a young age. Go see the world, enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And
I had my first child at 18, and I know exactly the struggle you're talking about. So he's 18 now, and I'm like, I'm telling you, you have all the time in the world to have kids. I don't regret having you, but not that way. Just hang on.
15. Yeah, I was 15. Yes.
Yeah, I was 19.
15, and then at 19 and 21, I had my oldest son out of wedlock. I got married at 19. Mistake. I married.
But you think you're doing the right thing at the time.
Yeah, you're thinking that you're doing the right thing, but little do you find out, oh, goodness gracious. You find out life hits you, reality and everything. I don't regret it. I look at everything as learning experience, and everything. And I just instilled my time with my kids. I was the mother and the father.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you did a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My goal was to get my kids out of high school, and college was a plus. That was my goal. No kids, no babies until they were ready, grown. I wanted them to have babies when they were married, but things happen. But at least they were old in their 30s.
Oh, okay.
On their own. So I'm happy because I think it was me forcing them. When am I going to have some grandkids? When is somebody married? And I'm like, when am I going to be the mother of the groom? I'm ready. And everything. So
let's go back to 2008.
Oh,
To your draft time. So Well, first, Courtney was working out for a bunch of teams during the draft period. Was there a team that you feel that he liked working out more over another?
He was just tickled pink to meet some players and working out with them. He really didn't care. It's like he got chosen. He was just over the moon. He was just like a kid in the candy store. He was just so happy, and I was just so proud of him. Here my baby growing up into a young man.
Right.
I'm like, wow. But I had a lot of issues when he went to college because I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm empty. That is true. Emptiness syndrome is horrible. Because I was so used to doing for my kids. I put myself on the back burner. And when the kids grow up, you're like, well, dog, everyone said, oh, you should be happy, but I'm not. I miss,
Right.
But then here come the games in college and you having a ball. But he really enjoyed trying out for the different teams. He was on edge. He was nervous and everything. But then he was happy seeing all these players that he saw on TV and everything. So
let's talk about draft night.
I was so nervous.
You're the best.
Draft night. I was at work and I was thinking of a menu, what I was planning to have, at the house. So I got off from work early and I'm like, oh Lord, do you think he's going to get drafted? I was asking my husband. Yes, he's going to get drafted. That's what my husband would say. I don't see why not. There's not 30 people better than Courtney in this draft, And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's only 400 jobs,
Of course.
And, little did I think, if I had really thought about it, because when I got home from work, every news station was in front of my house. Ooh. That should have been an indication that he was going to get drafted. Because why would all of these news channels be at my house?
Wow.
Waiting on me to come home. I thought that was weird. I'm like, what done happened? What? Did somebody break in my house and die? What?
Well, I don't think the news shows up when someone breaks in your house.
What is going on? I just wasn't thinking because that's how nervous I was. I got home and I started cooking the hot wings, making chili dogs, all this, getting everything ready for my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my sister, the family coming over. Like I said before, the kids went to the hotel. They went to Hyatt, to the Hyatt Regency and everything. He was on pins and needles. I was on pins and needles. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, I just got to calm down. So I'm serving everybody and everyone said, why don't you just sit down? I'm like, I can't. I had to keep busy. I was trying to get the news people to drink some champagne, some water, anything. But I just had no idea. So the draft came on. And then you hearing all the other people. And I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Do you think he's going to get drafted? I was even talking to the newsman. I'm like, do you think he's going to get drafted? And they just smiled, wouldn't say nothing. They knew.
Did you tell the people at work, like when you're working all day? I can't even imagine how you'd focus knowing like this is a huge night.
I was doing my work. It was the other people making me more nervous talking about it. I'm blocking it out of my head. If it happens, it happens. If it don't. And then I was just thinking, if he doesn't get drafted, how is he going to handle? That was my concern and everything. And I just, geez, Lord Jesus, is he going to get drafted? We couldn't breathe no more. But the kids, everybody, they said that they weren't nervous because they already knew he was going to get drafted. But he was nervous.
So let's talk about that moment. I mean, you're handing out hot wings, talking to the news people in your house and everybody else, all your family members. And then all of a sudden you hear Courtney Lee, 22nd overall to the Orlando Magic.
I didn't hear it. Everyone else heard it. They screaming and jumping. I fell down to the ground. I'm like, what is it? What's going on? And then they said, Courtney Lee, again, number 22 to the Orlando Magic. And I thought I was dreaming. I'm like, what? Did he say Courtney Lee? And Robert said, oh my God, he got it. I told you he was going to get drafted and everything. So it was nice. I started crying and my mom was crying. She's gone to glory as well. My brother, he was there. He's gone in glory
Right.
too. My dad, he's gone. So then my husband passed. So
But all these people were there to experience that
so they did
beautiful
have
moment.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was very, very nice. And so when he got drafted, he called me. He was crying, and then they came back home because the news people wanted to interview him. And then he had on his President Obama T-shirt. I'm never gonna forget that. He was so happy. So that was a proud moment. I just was still in shock. I was in shock for like 2 weeks.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. So how was his transition now from, I mean, you have Western Kentucky University now to the Orlando Magic. Well, what was his transition like over those few months?
He was just so hyped and excited, again, meeting the players and everything that he saw play, on TV. Yep. It just went smooth. They even pranked him a whole lot as a rookie and everything. He didn't care. He was so excited. They hid his car and everything. he didn't care, but he did have an unfortunate incident. He was broken into, and they stole his Xbox, a lot of tennis shoes, and a necklace and everything. So, but he was able to, and his championship ring, his rings and stuff, they stole that, but he was able, he got it back.
Right.
And everything. One of the players who did some homework and was able to get some of his things back. So that was good.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, your son went from playing, again, Western Kentucky, to a rookie for the Orlando Magic, and that was the year that they made the finals, and they were playing against Kobe. So they were playing the Lakers in the finals. Like, oh my God! So tell me, were you at those games, or what was that like to attend those games?
Of course,
And he started. Courtney started a couple of games.
Yeah, he started a lot of games. Kobe was one of my favorite players until my son got into the league. Him and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
and Dr. J. Now, I love me some Dr. J. Oh, my God. I love Dr. J. Well, anyway, he said, Mom, I got to check Kobe. And they always put him on the hardest player to guard and everything. And then everyone, well, you're not going to get close to Kobe because his entourage is not going to let you meet Kobe. I'm like, you don't know who I am. I would, so he was so excited. Everyone was so excited because everyone loved Kobe and everything. And to check him, he said, Mommy, I'm running constantly to keep up with him. He's just good. Kobe is just good and everything. But I said, and you're good as well. You did it for a rookie to guard a player like Kobe. You're doing something right.
Absolutely.
But it was so funny when I met Kobe. He was really nice. We took pictures and we talked, but they told me that I wasn't going to be able to get to him. I said, don't underestimate me and everything. But Courtney was so excited about playing in that, championship until he missed that layup.
Yeah.
Which at the time, it broke his heart. But then when the photographer sent us pictures over and each angle of that shot, my husband said, that's goaltending. But Courtney's a rookie, and that's Paul Gasol. He wasn't going to get that call. Yeah. I just wish he had just went on and slammed him, but I know he wasn't going to do it because the contact, he's scared to get hit again,
Yeah, of course.
To get hurt.
I mean, it's hard, despite what people think. It's hard when you're a player and you miss that winning shot or that layup or you mess up on a play.
And then the commercial about that shot, too, airline. It's an airline commercial when you just need to get away. But yeah, he was sad for a while over that. But I showed him the picture. I said that was goaltending, but you wasn't gonna get that call. You were rookie, But you did well. You got to move on. You can't change it. It's over with. You guys lost.
Yeah.
And so then he got traded, and he was thinking it was because he missed that shot. He got traded. I'm like, no, it's not because of that shot. So,
well, he
was
got traded
down.
after that season.
Hmm.
So actually, he got traded a few times within his career. So was there one team that hit him harder than others?
The first team,
Really,
Orlando,
eh?
the man, it crushed him because he gelled with all of those players, and I loved them
Right.
too. They were so nice, and the whole organization was just a family oriented.
Yeah.
It was just, and it crushed him when he got the call. He was at my house. He had came home, and he was on the computer, and it came across before he got the phone call. It was on the computer, and his whole demeanor just changed. I mean, he was crushed, and I'm like, cheer up, cheer up. And then everyone else was telling him it's a business. You're gonna do well and everything.
But that is the worst. You know what I mean? As a player, you're sitting there and you find out.
But he had
Not
to go
even
to
from
the.
the.
He had to go to the Nets.
Yeah.
The New Jersey Nets.
At the time, yeah.
From the Magic playing in the finals to the Nets, the worst record
Yep.
in the league
At the time.
He was devastated. But again, everyone was talking with him. His old teammates, Rashard Lewis. Oh, I love Rashard, Jameer Nelson, Dwight. Everybody was, talking with him in Turkoglu. And then Van Gundy. Van Gundy was really good to my son.
Yeah, but being traded is part of the sport, right?
But then after that first team, he didn't even care. He said, I'm still going to get paid.
Just gonna say.
He said, it
don't matter what team.
It's a job. It's a job. Long as I'm working, I don't care. I said, that's the spirit. That's what you have to look at and take it personal. It's business.
As long as you're in the league, As long as you're in the league and keeping yourself in the league, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I told him just keep playing and stay healthy and do what you're supposed to do. You have a job. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, at one point, he played for the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, under the direction of Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's my
come
second.
on now. So how is that like playing for someone who everybody considers their idol?
Look, this is him. All 32s. He just looked up to him. He was just so pleased and then just couldn't believe it and everything. And I'm like, why can't you? I mean, he's just human. He's just an awesome ball player, but he's to me, he's no better than you. That's what I used to tell my son,
Did you get to meet him?
Yeah. Oh my, I met Michael Jordan in Las Vegas years ago. And then I met him. Then he was at Indiana. His son played my nephew's school when they were in high school. So, but it was still awesome because I like, the man is just awesome in basketball,
Yeah.
But yeah, my son, he still talks about Michael Jordan. He was just every time. Michael Jordan that. Yeah, he was on cloud nine. And Charlotte was nice too, family oriented. I really liked Charlotte as well. Those were my two favorite teams, the Magic and the Hornets. And Memphis. I like Memphis too.
Oh, okay. Well, I consider you a seasoned mom because you were able to, meet a lot of parents, a lot of team members, a lot of staff because your son played on so many teams. So did you... let's talk about some of the blessings that you encountered by meeting all of these people.
Oh, yes. My biggest blessing is meeting Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dominique Wilkes. Wilkins.
Old school, yeah.
Well, it was just so many. I'm an old school for life. That's when basketball was really basketball.
Yeah, when it was real.
They didn't whine, they played and everything. But oh my God. And to travel to many cities that, I wouldn't have been interested in going. And also I love New York, their organization. They were really sweet to me as well during the time of my husband's passing. Just meeting a host of different moms, players, the kids. I love kids, and the kids and everything. They respectful, and the many restaurants. Ooh, Lord, the good food. I love food. So those are the many blessings, and just seeing my son out there on that floor playing and doing well, because I'm his number one fan.
That's it.
Well, now I'm his number 2 fan because his daughter is his number 1 fan, she says. Number 2. Gigi, you number 2. I'm like, no, I'm number 1.
How old is London?
London is 4. My little princess London is 4.
Yes, her initials, LOL.
Yes.
Yes, London Olivia. Yes.
Yes.
She's absolutely adorable.
She's a mess. I just love this. She's going to be something. She's in tennis lessons now, and she loves it. Loves it. I said, move over, Serena. Here, come London.
How does she like going to Daddy's games?
Oh, my gosh. She loves it. She's a diva already. Because, she sits in the front row, and then she has to run out and give her daddy a hug and a kiss before the game starts. And then halftime, she loves it. Yeah, she's a basketball child. She's at mostly all the games.
No, that's awesome. That's good. I mean, that she gets that opportunity. Not a lot of kids get that opportunity to see their dads play.
Yeah, so she's a mess.
Well, I asked you before about all the blessings.
Yes, she's her and her mom went down to Palm Beach over the weekend, and my daughter-in-law woke me up and said, your granddaughter asked me could she order room service. She wants some chicken and waffles. I'm through. Yeah, order room service, Mom. I'm like, oh my God.
So you as a mom, like I was saying before, you had a lot of blessings, but now let's look at the flip side. Sometimes there's a lot of curses with being an NBA mom. So let's talk about that. Were there any challenges that you had to face just because you were a mom?
Well, at the time, co-workers, sometimes your family, it can be rough. I'm telling you, it can be so rough.
Yeah. They look at you differently, eh?
Yeah, they look at you differently. And then like, my one boss at my job while I was still working, I worked at the hospital for over 35 years I worked.
Yeah.
And as long as he was in high school, toward the end of college, she started changing. So like the time that I needed off, she wouldn't approve. And so when Courtney and them made it to the playoffs at his rookie year, she was giving me grief. She wouldn't let me take off from work and says, no, I can't keep letting you get off. And other people would like to take off at the same time. I said, well, the rule was if I gave you 2 weeks notice and I have my time, you would approve it. Yeah, but people are complaining, which no one was complaining. Yeah. So I said, oh, okay. So I went over to the CEO, which he used to be the high school referee, and he loves sports. Matter of fact, he says, oh, my brother is a pilot for Delta. You guys need tickets? He approved it. Whatever I want. He even had TVs in the office, when they were in the playoffs to watch the games.
That's awesome.
She couldn't stand it. But and then cousins and relatives get upset because I'm his mom and my husband was his dad, and they expected to get tickets, the same tickets where I sat at. You getting tickets to get into the game. You wouldn't have paid XYZ for the seat. Right. So why are you going to? I'm his mother. You can't sit where I sit sometimes, So you go through a lot of nonsense.
Oh yeah, my neighbors used to treat me differently, and I don't understand because I used to tell them I'm still living here. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm still here. I don't understand.
Not me. I'm just little old me. That's it. I'm just little old me.
I don't play basketball. You know what I mean? And yeah, and you're right. It's sad. Or sometimes you have those family members that expect
And then
some sort of payout.
You can't, when you're excited about your son's accomplishments. I'm excited about all my children and all of their goals and accomplishments. But I'm excited. I want to brag. Did you see that shot? That one game he got a double-double, his first double-double. I went hysterical. I'm like, look at him. He's doing awesome. Or if he buys me something, I wouldn't even carry half the purses. He because I didn't want to hear other people,
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to do that.
No, you shouldn't.
Because each and every one of my family members know the struggles that I went through. You should be happy. But the little green-eyed monster gets some of these people. Mm-hmm.
I had people that were jealous when my son bought me a car.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. It was incredible. I mean, I remember a colleague saying to me, I don't understand why you're late because you got a brand new car.
I know.
And I'm like, really? I was like,
wow.
Like, yeah, nonsense. Yeah.
I know, because I was driving at the time a 4-door Cavalier. Mm-hmm. And I love that little car. I bought it and paid for it myself,
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a single mom, and that little car didn't take nothing to fill up, and I loved it. Well, your son is in the NBA. Why don't he buy you a car? I said, why don't your son buy you a car?
Yeah.
And then Courtney had, because the Magic had a contract with Toyota, and I loved at the time back then, I loved the Camry. I said, oh, I just love the Camry.
Right.
Mother's Day, big old bow on the car, Camry in the driveway. Oh, Lord. Well, why are you still working? Because I want to work. It's just the little innuendo remarks and everything. I'm like, because I want to work. There's insurance. I have to have insurance,
Right.
And it's none of your business. And my mother said, why do you feed into them? You don't have to explain yourself. And then when I got the newer car, when he bought me a Jaguar SUV, the F-Pace that just came out 2018, he bought it 2017 for my birthday. Oh my God. It was like Jesus. And then, he moved me to Florida because I lived we're from Indiana. And he surprised me. He called me one morning at 3:00 in the morning. And I'm like, why are you okay? Why are you calling me? He says, well, how would you like to move down to Orlando to be with your first grandchild? I'm like, is that really a question? Now, I want to be close to my first grandchild. Next thing I know, he was having a condo built. I have a 4-bedroom condo.
Nice.
And
you deserve it, Mom.
Yeah, but, people don't understand that. And I'm like, wow.
I know. People used to live through my son. And I'm like, you're asking for things that I would never even dream of thinking to ask for. Or, I would listen to the conversations and things that run through their minds. It's incredible.
I know. It's like the element of surprises. My son, he does a lot for a lot of people and everything. But when you be nasty and disrespectful, he's through with you, and everything. Well, but those are my blessings, because out of 1,000 dreams, I would have never thought that I would have a son in the NBA.
That's right.
And, when he played AAU, and we would come down here for the tournament down at Disney Wide World of Sports. And when they had an off day, we would go to the beach, Clearwater. Mm-hmm. And we loved the ocean. And he told me this. He said, Mom, one day we're going to live down here close to the beach. I'm going to buy you a house. And
we did it.
I think about that all the time. And I'm like, wow,
Well, good for you.
God is so good.
Yes, he is all the time.
It's him,
Yes.
You keep believing and keeping the faith and doing what's right.
Right. So Courtney played for 8 teams within his 12 years. He lived in various cities. I mean, Boston, Orlando, Memphis,
Houston.
New York, Houston,
Yeah.
and now Dallas. Oh yes, that's right, Charlotte, and now Dallas.
Memphis.
In which city do you think fans showed him more love or more fanatic energy?
Oh wow. Oh wow. Orlando, New York, Memphis, Boston. I mean,
everywhere.
Everywhere, pretty much. You know, my son, you have to meet him to understand. He's just so humble. You wouldn't even think that he's in the NBA.
Yeah.
And
I noticed that from his IG
goofy.
Account. Yeah.
Yeah, he's goofy. he's just a good-hearted person.
Yeah, I was looking at his
Instagram
account.
I did my best to knock it into him. Because, you know, my sons are giants, you know, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, now he's with the Mavs. So at this stage of his career, he has minimum minutes, but when he's on the court, he shows out. So what fulfillment do you think he gets out of his current role?
Well, you know, he's he enjoys being a mentor to the younger, you know, kids and everything. The guys that's playing, any minutes he gets, he's happy. He's never complained. He really hasn't complained about anything.
Yeah.
But you know, he's just happy, you know, and he knows that he's older now, and he knows that he's not going to be able to get the minutes that he had before.
Right.
But you know, he loves being a mentor, a role player, or whatever. You know, he's a team player. He always been a team player.
Well, he's that one on his team that probably has the most longevity within the league. I mean, his team that he plays for now. I mean, the Mavs. They're a young team.
Dirk retired. Big Dirk.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. So Courtney is the veteran on that team.
Isn't that funny? 35 and he's the veteran. I'm like,
yeah,
you're great. I take that age any day. 35,
I can never remember 35. I'm like, what did I do when I was 30?
I was traveling with AAU between my other two sons.
Oh,
you know, I was here and there. It was terrible because Courtney and my middle son, they were both in high school together. Well, no, when Courtney was in middle school, my son was playing, middle son was high school, and they would have a game on the same day. Oh. And I would have to do 2 hours here and 2 hours there. Yeah. I was going crazy. It was rough. But I made sure I showed up to all their games, you know.
So now let's talk about your faith, because you are a family of Christian faith. So how, as a mother, do you keep your child serving God when he goes out in the world with many non-believers? Well,
you know, to me, it starts when they're little. And still, the Bible, you have to read. If you don't understand, you have to ask questions. You go to church, you go to Bible school, and a lot of prayers. Oh, my God. My mom was a praying woman, my grandmother, my aunt, and my cousins, and my sister. We just prayed and everything. And then you go to church and everything. And, man, it's some, Lord, the things that some of those guys go through in the NBA and the women, oh, my God.
Well, that's why I was asking, yeah.
Oh,
like, does he find it hard living his Christian values?
So many beautiful women in the world, but everything, I tell them everything that glitters is not gold.
Well, there's beautiful Christian women too. Okay.
True, because he's with one now.
There you go. See?
And he's with one now, and that's so true, but it's just, I just feel sorry for some of these guys because some of these men are just weak. You know, they see a pretty face, you know, and the other, and they just fall, but they don't stand a chance. You know, these women don't leave nothing for the imaginative. You can be sexy without being disgusting, you know. Yeah. And I told them everything that glitters is not gold. You better always protect yourself. You say no. you got to stay out of trouble because, again, it's so easy to get into trouble and so
That's
hard to
right.
get out. And then, I use different teammates. You see this situation, you don't want that situation. So you better be smart.
If you had one word to describe Courtney as a son, what's that word?
I'm going to say loving. It's plenty more that I can say, but
No, you get one.
He's a loving yeah, he's a loving son.
All right.
He
Father.
is. One word. Let me see. What would be that word? He is just overjoyed. London is his light. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you had seen him when she first came into the world, I was just they had given London the bath and everything. He went back there and gave his daughter another bath, put on, because he told me, he said, Mom, we're not going to put her on bling and glitter and glitz, because, I love the bling. And the outfit that we had on her was pink and with the bling. It was just so pretty. He was dressing her, and all the nurses and doctors, they taking pictures and everything. He just held her just like this. And then he did the African.
Like the Lion King.
I think it's something about fathers and their daughters, though.
It just makes me proud. Yeah, London is his light,
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they say prayers. And when he's on the road or whatever, every night they FaceTime and they say a prayer together. She prays for her father. They just two peas in a pot. That's what they are. Two peas in a pot.
That's beautiful. And lastly, one word to describe him as a player.
Awesome.
Love it. I love it. Okay, Teer, we would like to know, our last question to you is, what advice would you as a mom give to another mom to an up-and-coming basketball player?
Listen to your son. Find out all the information possible. Do your homework, because, again, people will say any and everything to get your child to sign with them. Do your homework. Ask the tough questions. That would be my advice.
That is awesome advice. I've lived through that too. Well, living through it. So you hit the nail right on the head. There's so much that parents nowadays have to ask.
Yeah, you have to ask those tough questions.
Don't be afraid to ask.
And don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Because, honey, woo, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Yes, listen.
That was the worst part of it.
Every time I watch ESPN's 30 for 30 broke, I always say, listen, I always said I want my kid as, on part 2. So.
Right. You have to be smart and everything, and you really have to keep the lines of communication open with your child, because, like you said, 30 broke. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you saw that one player. I'm not going to mention his name.
Oh yeah,
we seen it, and that's
Mark
a club
Cuban.
that we don't want it. Yes.
Right.
Oh, before we go, I love Mark Cuban. Oh my God,
I do too. And that's why my son. That's why I say, to know my son, you wouldn't think he's in the NBA. You need just only one car. You don't need a fleet of cars. Some players got 50 and 30 cars. I'm like, you can only try one at a time,
Yeah, it's true. That doesn't make any sense. No, I love Mark Cuban. I love what he stands for. So, I was happy to see
a lot of
people. He did, or he still does.
He helps a lot of people. Mm-hmm.
I watch him on, what is it, Shark
Dragon's
Tank or
Den.
Dragon's Den? One of them. Is it Dragon's Den? Yeah.
Or Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, yeah. And I watch that show religiously. And the funny thing about it, I always miss the beginning when they introduce the people and who they are. So I always knew him as Mark Cuban. And only after like 3 years do I realize, I'm like, what? Wait, hold on. Dallas Mavs? I was like, oh my God. I had no idea that he was the owner of the Dallas Mavs. What a fantastic human being. So for me, I was just took a liking to him from the show. And then finding out now, you know what I mean? after that. You know what I mean? That he's dealing with the Dallas Mavs, and just looking at all the things that he's been doing for his players and the community, and just for Dallas, especially during COVID. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, what a human being. So
hopefully COVID will leave now after January. When 45 leaves, he's going to take COVID with him.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other talk show. And I wish you luck with all that in the U.S. and be safe.
You too. You as well, with that gorgeous smile.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you ladies have a great rest of your day. I enjoy myself again. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Teer. We'll talk soon.
Join me and Steph every week on Courtside Moms, where you get a courtside seat outside of the arena.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe and listen for free on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.